All right, so we're going to talk about real estate today, but probably not in the way you're used to. We're not just going to be looking at charts and market trends. Nope. We are going behind the data to get into the really human stories that are at the absolute heart of the Snohomish County housing market. And this right here is what it's all about. This quote isn't from a market report. It's from a real homeowner who's trying to downsize after living in the same house for decades. You see, it's not about the square footage for her. It's about memory. It's about emotion. And it's about feeling completely and totally overwhelmed. And that feeling, that's really what we're digging into today. Because let's be honest, whether you're trying to buy your very first place or selling the home you've lived in forever, it is one of the biggest, most emotional, and financially massive decisions you will ever make. Every single transaction represents a huge life change, a hope for what's next, or, the closing of a really important chapter. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack those challenges. We're going to try and understand the dreams that are pushing people forward. And then we're going to uncover a blueprint that shows how a little bit of deep understanding can actually build a bridge between the two. Okay, so let's set the stage. We are zeroing in on Snohomish County, Washington. It's a market that honestly perfectly captures this mix of high-stakes pressure and really deep personal emotions. The first thing you've got to understand is the pressure. I mean, look at this number. A median sold price of $766,000. That is not just a statistic, that is a massive financial mountain that shapes every single decision, every fear, and every dream in this market. And what's really interesting is this kind of contradiction you see in the market. Yeah, these are the growing families who are bursting at the seams in their current house. For them, the biggest challenge is just pure logistical anxiety. I mean, how do you sell one house and buy another at the exact same time without ending up on your parents' couch, or even worse, paying 2 mortgages at once? The dream is just a smooth, stress-free move into that bigger forever home. And then there are the downsizers, and this one is so fascinating. Their challenge is coming from 2 sides. First, there's the deep, emotional gut punch of leaving a home that's just filled with memories. And second, this bizarre financial trap where selling their big paid-off house to buy a small condo could actually make their monthly costs go up. All they want is a simpler life and the financial freedom that their home equity is supposed to give them. And finally, the relocation buyer. These are the folks moving into Snohomish County for a new job or to chase that amazing Pacific Northwest lifestyle. But then, bam, they get hit with some serious sticker shock and this insane pressure to find the perfect community for their family, usually from a distance and always on a super tight deadline. The dream for them is just to land smoothly and start their new life without any of the real estate drama. Okay, let's zoom in on that move-up buyer for a second, because their situation really shines a light on one of the toughest challenges in the housing market today. It's this concept called the golden handcuffs. So what are golden handcuffs? Well, to put it simply, it's this crazy situation where you have a mortgage rate from a few years back that is just unbelievably good. We're talking under 3%. And the thought of selling that home and getting a new mortgage at today's rates, like 6 or 7%, is just financially paralyzing. You're literally trapped by a great deal. And this quote, wow, it just lays it all out there. Their payment would double, not to buy a bigger house, but to buy the exact same house today. They call it insanity, and you can see why. For a family that just needs 1 more bedroom, it really feels that way. This chart just makes the problem so visually clear, doesn't it? That gap between the old rate and the new one, it's not just a couple of percentage points. For a growing family, that represents thousands and thousands of dollars a year. It's a smaller budget for everything else in life, and it's a dream that suddenly feels completely out of reach. So, okay, we've laid out all of these really tough, really human problems, but identifying a problem is one thing. Actually solving it, that's a whole different ball game. So how do you get from insight to action. Well, the real breakthrough happens when you realize the problem isn't just about interest rates or inventory numbers. It's about the common language that all these different buyers are using. For the first timer, it's the fear their savings will never be enough. For the downsizer, it's feeling totally overwhelmed. For the move-up buyer, it's that deep anxiety of getting the timing horribly wrong. The real enemy for everyone is uncertainty. And that insight, it suggests a totally different way of thinking. If the real enemy is uncertainty, then the only way to win is to attack that feeling head-on. So let's look at a case study of how this can actually work in practice. So here's a potential playbook built on that very idea. Step 1. You name the true enemy out loud, uncertainty. Step 2. You build a system specifically designed to eliminate it. And finally, step 3. You make a bold promise that speaks directly to that emotional need. In this case, a stress-free transition. And here's what that system can actually look like. It's not just a list of services. It's a clear step-by-step process where each step is designed to fight a specific fear. A strategic plan tackles those money worries for everyone. A coordinated timeline takes on that logistical anxiety for the move-up in relocation buyers. Even things like exclusive access to new homes can reduce that competitive pressure. The whole point is to give people a clear, predictable path from A to Z. This is what it looks like to solve for uncertainty. Okay, let's zoom out for a minute, because this really isn't just about selling houses in Snohomish County. This is a blueprint, a way of thinking that you can apply to pretty much any complex market or industry out there. At the end of the day, the blueprint is empathy. That's it. The key lesson here is that when you shift your focus away from what you're selling and onto your customers' unspoken fears, you completely transform your role. You stop being a salesperson and you become a problem solver. You stop just making transactions and you start actually making a difference. So let's wrap this all up. Here's what you need to remember. First, complex markets like real estate are driven by human emotions, not just data. Second, every single customer has a unique story of struggle and hope. Third, the biggest problems aren't numbers on a page. They're often unspoken fears like uncertainty. And finally, the most powerful solutions, they don't come from a spreadsheet. They come from genuine deep listening and empathy. And that leaves us with one last question to take with you. Think about your own industry, your job, maybe even your own life. What are the unspoken fears that are creating all the friction and anxiety? And more importantly, who is taking the time to listen closely enough to solve them? Because the opportunity, it's right there, just waiting for someone to listen. That's exactly why I built the Smooth Move-Up method, a proven step-by-step system designed to take the uncertainty out of selling and buying your next home. Because in a market as competitive and emotional as Snohomish County, you don't just need another real estate agent. You need a guide who truly understands the human side of this journey. Whether you're a growing family bursting at the seams or finally ready to simplify life and start your next chapter, my goal is to help you move forward with confidence, clarity, and peace of mind. So if you're ready to make your next move without the stress, without the guesswork, and without the fear of what if, or schedule your free move-up consultation at jthpremierhomes.com to get your personalized transition plan. And hey, if this message hit home for you, do me a favor and be sure to like, follow, and share. And while you're at it, smash that subscribe button so more people can discover the human side of real estate and take that next step toward their dream home too. Remember, this isn't just about selling houses. It's about listening deeper, planning smarter, and helping families like yours build what's next. Thanks again for watching. Catch you on the next one.